Now we go on to our next fun segment of the day, our hymn zone of the week. Definitely a lot of good stuff that we surely want to address in week 6. Some great performances that surely did not go unnoticed. Alec, I'll go ahead and start with you again. Who would you have as your hymn of week 6?
Yeah. For my hymn, I got them. I got the New York Jets. You heard Robert Saleh talking about how they've gone through a gauntlet of quarterbacks, and they've exposed all of them or embarrassed all of them. I think is what he said.
1 second.
Yeah, I believe he said like they embarrassed that gauntlet of elite QBs, which they've gone through. What Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and now Jalen Hurts, who threw 3 interceptions to this Jets defense, who is an elite group, man. I think they're a top 3 probably defense in this league. You got the 49ers, you got the Browns, but I think they're right there. And yeah, had Jalen Hurts looking uncomfortable all game, really.
Very much so.
And this is a good offensive line for the Eagles, but they were able to get pressure on him and make him uncomfortable and force him into 3 interceptions. I think they had a couple sacks too, a fumble recovery, and just made big timely plays. They had a couple guys down too. I think Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed were hurt too, but they came through and were able to take their first franchise win against the Eagles, which is huge for that franchise, and the first game off the Eagles this season. So salute to them, and they're my him or them of the week.
Yeah, definitely got to give them their props. We both picked the Eagles, I believe, in that game.
Did, yep.
I didn't think that, even though as good as the defense as they were, we didn't think the offense would do enough to get over the hump. But they were able, both sides were able to contribute as needed to have a good performance there. And yeah, definitely was impressive. As we mentioned, they upset it, a top squad there. So yeah, salute to them. People had written them off. We both, I think, had kind of said that there was a big fall off now that Aaron Rodgers was no longer at the helm.
Right.
But they are still putting up their best efforts and showing that they still deserve a respect this season. And we'll see how far that takes them. So good stuff with them. Somewhat of them, but I wanted to mention both because they both had big games. Myself, for mine.
Shout out your fantasy team, man.
Not because of that.
Shout them out.
You'll see why. Raheem Mostert and Tyreek Hill. You were throwing Jalen Waddle if you wanted to as well. They put up a good performance versus the Panthers last week.
Yeah.
Raheem had 17 carries, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had 6 catches, 163 yards, still on pace for over 2,000 yards at the moment.
I think 2,300, yeah.
Yeah, so both of them showing out as they did definitely was impressive. The Panthers came out and threw a good punch early on, and the Dolphins were like, all right, bro, like that was cute. Let's gear it up now and get this track restarted. And Tyreek and Raheem really got rolling in the second half and broke away from that Carolina squad. So because what they did, I was going to go with just Raheem, but seeing that Tyreek is still on track as he is as well, wanted to mention him also. As Alec joked about, I will also add they're on my fantasy team too, so that also helps surely. So I'll give them that nod as well, for I appreciate that. Raheem was a great find, and hopefully that continues throughout the rest of the season. And yeah, I just wanted to salute them for what they continue to do there. So good stuff. Any thoughts on what they did?
Yeah, I mean, Raheem is helping me in best ball too, so I appreciate it. I appreciate the stats too. But yeah, no, they like you said, they took a punch in the mouth early, but blew the doors off to close out that game. So they're the cream of the crop there, and much of that is due to those 2 playmakers. They got speed. They got speed all down, up and down that roster. Even when guys go down, they still have elite play.
Yeah, they find everywhere. They're definitely impressive. So salute to them. Now on the flip side, we talked about our him guys are not him of the week. Definitely some people that need to acknowledge on that side as well. Who underperformed this week for you, week 6?
Yeah, this guy was a mainstay and not him last season.
He was named after the award was named after him last year. It was the award for him last year.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough 2022, I guess, for Russ last season. But this season he has picked it up. Granted, it's been in a lot of losing efforts, but he has looked better than he was last year. But this Thursday night game, it was a short week. But we didn't forget about that performance, Russ.
Right.
that was 95 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. It was the first time in his career he threw for under 100 yards and multiple picks. It was bad. This offense couldn't get anything going against the Chiefs on Thursday. And Sean Payton is supposed to be kind of the offensive guru, is supposed to bring some new life to this offense. And they were pretty pedestrian against the Chiefs. People have said, like, it seems like they're trying to make him be Drew Brees in this offense, and he's never really played like Drew Brees. Like, he was more of the deep ball thrower for the Seahawks. So it was definitely wasn't working against the Chiefs, and he's got to be my not him this week.
Yeah. And they have deep ball talent, which is weird. They have Jerry Judy still there. Cortland Sutton,
Marvin Mims.
Deep ball threat. Marvin Mims. They have the piece that could be there for him. But the offense is not designed properly for him to execute as he does. Also, he has lost a little bit of a step. Yeah, I haven't seen a play. Maybe I haven't watched close enough for him, and maybe I'm wrong. But we usually play every week of him scrambling around for 5-6 seconds and finding some guy in the end zone somehow. Like, wait, how do you even see him? And all kinds of plays like that. We rarely see that anymore. Now he scrambles around. He's fighting for his life and can barely get the ball out anywhere. So that plays on both sides. Maybe he's lost a step. Maybe the guys are getting open. They don't have the same chemistry as there once was with his past receivers, all of that. But, yeah, he has not looked like the same. He not looked like the guy that came over here and we thought would be the guy to fix things for the Broncos instead. It's just been more the same in Denver for the time being. And, definitely a sad performance again this last week that has been indicative of his entire tenure there so far. So bad stuff there, and we'll see if it ever turns around for them because we've been waiting for it for a minute now, and we haven't really even seen signs of life like that yet. So it is what it is. So definitely agree with you there for him this week. It's been a minute since he's been back in the category, but I knew it wouldn't be long. So here we are. Now it's someone else who has been kind of, I won't say sneaking by, but someone who I guess
don't do that. Don't do that.
From the outside looking in, people have said he's not as good as we say he is. Is what I meant to say. I see what he does. I pointed out how he contributes to the team and fits in properly to the system that they have in place. But we saw this last week that once the system kind of gets broken a little bit, once you step out a little bit more, has to carry a little bit more of the load, he can't quite do that. Once McCaffrey went down, once I think Debo got hurt as well. A few guys got tweaked in his last game.
Trent Williams as well, starting left tackle.
Williams, and those are big names, of course. So yes, if quarterback loses any of those guys, it's going to be a struggle. But seeing how much Brock was unable to keep the offensive afloat, it's like versus the Browns, who are a top defense as well. So we do want to give them props. But just seeing how once you start asking more of Brock, he can't quite step up beyond what is required of him. Definitely, I want to acknowledge 12 of 27, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, lost to the Browns, who again is a great defense and definitely is acknowledged. But having Deshaun out of the building, we thought they still have enough offense to get past them. They were unable to do so, losing to the Browns. And yes, they was close. They did lose just by a field goal because a field goal kicker who could have been the pick this week as well. But he missed, I think, early on field goal and the game-winning field goal. He was on fantasy team too. That's why I remember that. Him being on there could have been more of the him. But just seeing how Brock was able to step up this last week, wanted to more so highlight his shortcoming versus the Browns there. So if you have guys out for this 9-year squad going forward, do you think Brock can still contribute enough or can step up enough to keep them as a top tier squad that we view them as?
Yeah, I think he can. I think he had a bad game. Like there's no two ways about it. Like he was less than 50% completion percentage, and had a few throws that probably could have been interceptions as well too. That weren't. Like one of them got called back because of the penalty on that final drive of the game.
Sure.
I will say, like, he did put them in position to win the game despite not having a good overall performance. Like he did lead the drive down there for them to be in position to win. They just missed the kick. And like you said, it was going against one of the better, if not the best, defense in the league in a cold environment on the road. I thought they played kind of the game that we expected. Like we expected it to be low scoring game, defense, kind of a defensive battle, and it was. So I think a lot of quarterbacks with their starting left tackle down, their wide receiver down, their RB1 down, going against one of the best defenses in the league would have struggled as well too. I don't think it's just a Brock thing, but he didn't have a good game, so I understand him being on your not him this week.
Yeah, looking around, there weren't other bad performances as grand as this that deserved highlighting. I mean, just seeing that this team was a top tier squad, and with all of that went into their loss, I wanted to talk about them a little bit and just made Brock the face of that this week, and it is what it is. But I think that they can bounce back, and he did even in his shortcomings, almost still get them to win there. So hopefully he continue putting up top performances beyond that. So we'll see how that plays out. Those are our him picks for this week. Definitely some good and bad as always that we wanted to highlight. Let us know who you guys' best and worst performances are this week as well. And we'll be sure to talk to you guys in the comments about those going forward too. So